watching Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. We have a full breakdown of mandatory minicamp, OTAs. You guys got a lot of questions about what has gone on over the last couple of weeks for your Seattle Seahawks. We will answer those for you right now here on today's show with everything we know. Let's begin with a $20 super chat. Pablo Domingo writes in, Tyler Jones, if Sam Darnold gets injured during a game, Jalen Milroe keep the starting quarterback job? Let's go Seahawks. Pablo, first off, thanks for the $20 super chat. Secondly, there's some work to be done for Jalen Milroe. First off, as of right now, he's not QB2. That's Drew Lock. Drew Lock had a very good offseason. He was fantastic in OTAs and in a mandatory minicamp. So Milroe still has to move up the depth chart to the number 2 quarterback spot. Not saying it won't happen, but that's the job ahead of him still to do that. And then the second part of that question. I feel very good about Sam Darnold, and I know not everybody feels this way, but I feel good enough about Sam Darnold that he's going to perform well where if he does get banged up, that he still holds on to his job. Now, I think Milroe is a project. He very well might be the quarterback of the future, but I would be surprised if we see a ton of him in this circumstance where he just comes in and takes over that job. Because you think about this, too. When he was at Alabama, it was a lot of peaks and valleys, too. He was supposed to be the guy, and he lost his job at one point there at Alabama. He did get it back, but to think that he's just going to come in and take over and, you know, go balls to the walls crazy, I think we need to just pump the brakes a little bit, give him time, and see what happens potentially from there. But I would say just be patient. Be patient. Jalen Milroe's day could come, but I would not expect it to be immediately, but you never know. Thanks, Pablo, for that super chat. Next super chat comes in, a $5 super chat from Xander. Xander wants to know, considering Kenneth Walker III is still dealing with injuries and Charbonnet is up next for RB1, if Damian Martinez shows enough, could he be RB2? Well, let me put it this way. As long as Kenneth Walker is on the roster, and there have been rumblings that he could be traded, I don't see him falling further than RB2. Zach Charbonnet very well might be RB1, but Kenneth Walker's not falling past RB2. But to Damian Martinez's credit, let's say that K9 is not available, and, you know, whether it's an injury now or another injury later, whatever it may be, I think Damian Martinez is talented enough that we could be talking about him moving past Kenny McIntosh and being that next running back in line. And that's not a knock on Kenny McIntosh. I think Kenny McIntosh is a very good running back. But Damian Martinez has that much potential. He's a good pass catcher. He's a strong runner. He's called himself Beast Mode 2.0. So I would say that would be the scenario where he'd be RB2. But I don't see him just straight up replacing Kenneth Walker, beating him out unless Walker is hurt or if he gets moved. But we'll see what happens as far as that goes. Folks, want to make sure not only you're subscribed to Seattle Seahawks Today, but you have your notifications turned on. You're part of what we call the NOTI gang here at Seahawks Today. Those are the people that are the first to know when we have new content on the channel, whether it's our daily news and rumors, our live shows that we do 3 days a week now on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We also have our breaking news, our Q&A mailbags like you're seeing here. We do these mailbags every Wednesday. Want to make sure you're subscribed and you have your notifications turned on. That way you're the first to know when we have new content here on the channel. Let's get at least 20 subs off today's video, and let's make sure all you are part of the NOTI gang. Hit that NOTI bell. Spam NOTI gang if you're part of the NOTI gang. Subscribe now for free. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV, and we'll continue with today's show. Gordon the GOAT. I love Jeff Gordon. My favorite athlete of all time. But I'm not going to call him the GOAT, though. That belongs to Jimmy Johnson, I think. Sorry. Love you, Jeff, but that's Jimmy. What do you think of Nick Emmanwori, what he's done this offseason? He's been fantastic. I've heard nothing but good things from Nick Emmanwori. And here's the thing with Emmanwori. We did not necessarily know what his role was going to be. We still don't know what his role is going to be, for that matter, for this Seahawks team, because it's not obvious, all right? You look at, with Nick Emmanwori, And you got two good safeties in Julian Love and Kobe Bryant already, okay? So it's going to be hard for him to beat one of those two out. And then you look at, okay, what else can Nick Emmanwori do? Well, at South Carolina last year, he played safety, outside corner, nickel back, outside linebacker, and inside linebacker. I think what Mike Macdonald is going to say is, okay, where do we need you? Where are guys potentially banged up? What's the void that needs to be filled? And I think that's what he steps into as a rover of sorts, that they find a spot for him somewhere within the rotation just based on needs. And that's not a bad thing at all. And, you know, he's developed a great relationship already with Ernest Jones. He's been talking to Cam Chancellor. He's doing all the things right. And he looks like the first-round pick that he should have been. Fortunately for Seattle, they were able to get him in the second round, trade up for him. But it's all kosher for Nick Emmanwori, and I'm excited to see what he potentially does for many years to come beyond just his rookie season. Weigh in on our pinned comment today. Be honest with me. Do you believe in Nick Emmanwori? Got two options here. Type B for believe, D for don't. Weigh in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Banana writes in, who is your breakout player of the year? So I'm not going to name a rookie because that feels too obvious to name a rookie. I'm going to talk about a guy that's going to take that next step up. And for me, it's got to be Byron Murphy. Byron Murphy last year, he didn't do anything special statistically speaking. If you look at his numbers, there's nothing earth-shattering. But you did notice a significant difference when he was not on the football field. When Jonathan Hankins had to fill in for him when he got banged up. I think that because you got Leonard Williams and Jaron Reed, and this defense is as loaded as it's been in a long time, that's going to create opportunities for Byron Murphy to really show up and show out. Another year older. I think Byron Murphy has all the makings to be a Pro Bowl player this year. I think Byron Murphy is going to take that next step forward, and they're going to need it to be. I think they want to have a dominant defensive line. I think everybody saw what the Philadelphia Eagles did in the Super Bowl, and everybody wants to do that. And if the Seahawks are going to do that, they're going to need Byron Murphy to be a part of that. So that's the player I'm watching for, is that breakout. Hawks Nation writes in, what's your expectations for Cooper Kupp? So the thing that I've said when it comes to Cooper Kupp is I would do kind of a load management situation with Cooper Kupp. And let me explain what I mean by that. Do I have any NBA fans in the house? We see all the time in the NBA regular season where teams are kind of, not playing their guys for every single regular season game. They're giving them nights off. They want to make sure that they're available when it matters. And I'm not saying that Cooper Kupp's going to sit out games, but I think it would be wise, whether it's in training camp or maybe during the week, whatever it may be, to kind of ease things on Cooper Kupp. We know he's talented. We know how good he is. He's going to learn this offense pretty quick if he hasn't already. I don't need Cooper Kupp taking hits on a Wednesday in September. Okay? I mean, what good does that do for anybody here? I think if they take kind of a load management approach and keep him healthy, and I think your target should be, let's get 12 games out of Cooper Kupp, and let's make sure he's available in December and January. If you do that, I can live with that, and he's there when it matters, and he can get 800, 900 yards receiving and be one of the best number 2 receivers in football. I think that would work great, and you'd be thrilled if you're the Seattle Seahawks if you can get that out of Cooper Kupp. I think that's a real expectation, and that can't be met. Will Cooper Kupp have a big year in 2025? You got two options here. Type Y for yes, in for no. Sound off in the comments, and let us know if you think Cooper Kupp is going to have a big season or not. Got a great deal for Seahawks fans. We got Nike shirts. Phil Knight, Beaverton's own Nike Seahawks shirts, to be exact. On sale now for a grand total of $15.99. That's it. Nike for $15.99. When does that happen? You don't even have to step into a TJ Maxx and leave with whatever diseases that you might find there. You get this online. You get it ordered. It's all yours, folks. Chatsports.com/COXT. We have all sorts of different shapes and sizes available for your liking. Get yours now. We also have other Seahawks merchandise available at that same link. Chatsports.com/COXT to get yours today. Link is in the comments and description of today's video. Michael writes in, any free agent guards out there? Braden Shrieff is still available. I believe Shaq Mason is still out there. There's some free agent guards. And John Schneider has said that after the June 1 cuts, they would reevaluate, be looking at some potential guard options. So maybe we see them potentially add another guard here in the coming weeks ahead. Last question. Dustin writes in, how's Lucas's knee holding up? He's not 100%, but he says he feels good. And he's gained some weight. He's gone from like 280, 290 to a lean 320. That should help that knee hold up. We've heard Pete Carroll say he thinks it's a chronic issue. Mike Macdonald disagrees. It all looks good. But it all looks good till it doesn't look good, right? So with that said, I'm optimistic, but I'm cautiously optimistic. And you look at this offensive line situation. The only thing that holds the Seahawks back from being a playoff team is the offensive line. And if Abraham Lucas is not healthy, playoffs ain't happening. I can tell you that right now. They need Abe out there. And so hopefully it holds up. And kind of like we talked about with Cooper Kupp, he's there when it counts, when they need him, and then they'll be in good shape. But for now, things are looking pretty good for Abraham Lucas with that knee. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.